Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, football is back in Bloomington as the Hoosiers get set to take on the Fighting Illini.
And volleyball got off to a hot start at the Indiana Invitational last weekend. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to the 24th season premiere of Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Hank Joseph.
And I'm Brianna Ballog. So Hank, what are you doing for the first football weekend?
Well, as exciting as Friday night under the lights sounds, I got the opportunity to go to the Notre Dame-Ohio State game in Columbus on Saturday.
Oh, nice. That should be exciting.
Should be very fun. Two really good teams, I think, two top 5 teams.
Yeah.
So, yeah, should be a lot of fun. With IU's football season set to kick off tomorrow, our Blake Spillers has more from Memorial Stadium prior to the 2022 kickoff.
It seems like all too long ago, Michael Penix was reaching out for the pylon to upset Penn State. 2 years removed from IU's best season in recent memory, the Hoosiers will look back to get back on track this year after only winning 2 games a season ago.
Bottom line is things didn't go the way we wanted them to go in 2021. And when that's the case, you do one of 2 things. You either feel sorry for yourself or you sit there and do a thorough evaluation of everything that you do, which is what we began in January, and had a chance to go through that process, make changes, add some new players to our team, add some new staff to our program, and then allow us to get back to work.
One of the new key additions for IU this year is offensive coordinator Walt Bell, who will look to improve the offense that was abysmal a year ago.
You know, from just a mentality standpoint, I think they're just really hungry to learn. They're hungry to improve. They're hungry to be better than we were a year ago.
The biggest question for the Hoosiers this year is who will be running out of the tunnel as the starting quarterback? Will it be Jack Tuttle or Missouri transfer Connor Bazelak?
Honor to me, just continues to, I love just the quick release, ability to, I think you're seeing the growth in the mastery of the system. Obviously, he hasn't been here as long, as Jack. But bottom line is that just throwing catchable balls. I think one thing that sticks out to me about Connor, just being able to throw a catchable ball, is really the key. I mean, it's completions are what you're looking for. We're charting all that and everything. Jack, just so competitive, such a great preparer, and is just really doing a good job of just learning, where to get his eyes, where to make the throws. Running the system, and from a holistic perspective, I think is really, I'm seeing growth there, which is what you want, and being able to move the football, down the field.
This Friday, IU begins their season at home, under the lights, versus Big Ten opponent Illinois. From Bloomington, I'm Blake Spillers for IUSTV Sports.
Indiana will face off against Big Ten opponent Illinois at 8 p.m. this Friday. Follow along with our football beat reporters Samantha Condra, Riley Woodall, Gwen Parks, and Blake Spillers for all your coverage of IU football.
After losing their season opener 3-2 against Clemson on Friday, Indiana men's soccer returned home to face the University of Portland Tuesday. Our Amanda Foster has more on that matchup.
Indiana men's soccer's 2022 home opener took place under a classic Bloomington sunset Tuesday night. Despite impressive offensive performances, Indiana drew in a 3-3 tie against the Portland Pilots.
Obviously a tough result. We had the game in hand, and second half they had maybe 2 or 3 possessions in our half, and to lose the half was hard.
The Hoosiers scored all 3 of their goals in the first half, giving up Portland's equalizer in the second. Despite numerous attempts from the Hoosiers, it would go unanswered.
We created a heck of a lot of chances. I thought we grew into the game offensively and played much smarter as the game went on and found the available space.
The Hoosiers finished with a total of 20 shots and 9 shots on goal. The Pilots finished with a total of 5 shots. However, offense wasn't the only story of the night. Fouls were a key part of Tuesday night's game as Portland was called for 32 fouls and 7 yellow cards. Indiana, expecting aggressive play, was only called for 5 fouls. However, the almost constant whistling kept any momentum short-lived.
It's tough. I mean, they had 25 last game. It's a lot of fouls. We had 5. So it killed flow. There was great sequences that I think we escaped out of it, and I thought he started really tightening up with yellows, and I'm surprised that they didn't find a second. I wasn't, necessarily, I didn't think they were dirty fouls, but they were tactical, and they just killed moments. A lot of really good takeaways. It's just really disappointing. The locker room's not in a good place because that's a game that we had.
Indiana will stay at home for its next match against Notre Dame on September 3rd. For iOS TV Sports, I'm Amanda Foster.
The Hoosiers look to get their first win when they take on Notre Dame on Saturday. Follow along with our beat reporters Amanda Foster, Kara Adams, and Aiden Mattel for all IU men's soccer coverage.
Indiana women's soccer kicked off its season last week with 3 consecutive ties. Our beat reporter Kelsey Dennehy has more on their most recent matchup.
It was a goaltending showdown at the Jerry Yeagley Field this Thursday where the Indiana women's soccer team took home their 3rd consecutive tie against the Ball State Cardinals. The Hoosiers have yet to score a goal in their 3 regular season games, but have yet to give one up either, thanks to standout sophomore Jamie Gerstenberg, who earned herself her 12th career shutout in this match.
No, I think she's a good goalkeeper. Today we didn't need her that much. I don't think she had to make too many saves. But if we go back to last weekend, she was unbelievable. And I think we're fortunate to have her there, and she's done well so far.
On the other end of the field, Bethany Moser, returning this season from injury, has battled her way back while still being an influential teammate on and off the field.
So I think when you talk about leadership, she's a kid that the players have really entrusted to kind of help lead them. And so again, with that always comes a little bit of pressure, right? That I think there's an expectation that you're doing the right things, and off the field, but then on the field that you can show up for the team. And she was just that. I think she's been great for us this year. I think I think she would even tell you that our entire goalkeeper crew this year in unit has been pushing each other hard, and it's been really great that every day in training it's a competition, and I think that helps. Helps whoever's in goal, right? I mean, today it's been Bethany, and so far this season, but I think it pushes her to be her best and to be sharp and come up in big moments for us.
The Hoosiers' offense tested Moser, but she did not concede, diminishing the offensive momentum they have been trying to generate for the past 3 games.
Yeah, we didn't score from it. I thought we had enough opportunities with ball bouncing around to create chances from that. So we just got to get better on set pieces as well as just creating opportunities from open play.
Indiana will get a break to regroup until September 1st when they play Indiana State at Bill Armstrong Stadium, where they will still be on the hunt for their first goal and victory of the season. Follow along with me, Kelsey Dennehy, and iOS TV Sports for all of the updates on the season.
IU will face Indiana State at 8 p.m. tonight at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Follow along with our beat reporters Kelsey Dennehy and Ryan Costello for all things women's soccer.
Coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And we have more on the Indiana Invitational Volleyball Tournament this past weekend. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUS TV sports reporter Gwen Parks. Gwen?
This week's IUS TV Sports Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is Indiana women's soccer sophomore goalkeeper Jamie Gerstenberg. Gerstenberg has been lights out this season between the goalposts. She posted a clean sheet in all 3 of the Hoosiers' games with 3 shutouts on the season. Gerstenberg now has 12 shutouts in her young career at IU. This ranks her 5th in all time of the program's history. Indiana has held opponents to 1 goal or fewer in 18 of Gerstenberg's 19 career starts. And on August 23rd, Gerstenberg was named Big Ten Co-Goalkeeper of the Week after having 12 saves in 2 games against West Virginia and Virginia Tech. Against the Hokies, she had a career-high 8 saves, and the Hoosiers will be back tonight against the Indiana State Sycamores at Yeagley Field. Gerstenberg will look for her 4th straight shutout on the season. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Gwen Parks.
Thanks, Gwen. Indiana Volleyball hosted the Indiana Invitational last weekend at Wilkinson Hall. Our volleyball beat reporter Gabe Fenster has the recap.
After an outstanding offensive game against the Chicago Cougars earlier in the day, the Indiana women's volleyball team hoped to keep that momentum going against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. To round out the Indiana Invitational on Saturday, Jacksonville State came ready to play. Down 11-6 in the first set, IU went on a 3-0 run to bring the game within 2 points. This was not enough for Indiana as the Gamecocks took the first set 25-21. Facing set point in the second game, the Hoosiers scored 4 straight points behind a pair of aces from Cameron Hayworth and a kill from Maddie Saris to tie the score at 24 apiece. The Gamecocks weakened the Hoosiers' momentum as they took the second set 26-24. By this point, Jacksonville State was in total control, taking the final set 25-16 to sweep the Hoosiers in 3 straight sets. Despite a career-high 18 kills from Maddie Saris, the Hoosiers could not keep up with the Gamecocks' dominance. This is the final home game for the Hoosiers for over a month as they travel to Corpus Christi, Raleigh, and Bowling Green over the next 4 weekends. So, not the way the Hoosiers would have liked to round out their final homestand, but with a 5-day break, they hope to gather some momentum as they travel to Corpus Christi, Texas this Friday to take on the SMU Mustangs for the Islanders Classic. And that'll be it here from Wilkinson Hall for IUS TV Sports and Indiana Volleyball. I'm Gabe Fenster.
The Hoosiers will be on the road for the next 4 weekends, starting with the trip to Corpus Christi, Texas, to take on SMU, Sam Houston State, and Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Follow along with Gabe, Spencer Hoffman, and Andy Manzer for all updates on IU Volleyball.
Indiana Field Hockey hosted the Hoosier Invitational this past week. The Hoosiers dropped both contests to Kent State University and Liberty University to start the season 0-2. The first matchup against Kent State was an offensive stalemate. Indiana had plenty of chances, attempting 11 shots on goal, but they were never able to slip one past Golden Flash's goalkeeper, Cecile Von Eyck. But Indiana's defense was strong, holding Kent State to just 2 shots on goal. The game went to overtime where Kent State scored the game winner in the 67th minute. Indiana's second matchup against number 6 Liberty went similarly, but this time Liberty's defense was the stalwart. The Hoosiers were unable to get a single shot on goal, and although Indiana goalkeeper Arabella Loveridge played steady with 7 saves, the Flames broke through in the second and third periods to win 2-0 and sweep the Invitational. Next up, the Hoosiers travel to California tomorrow for a 3-game road trip against Stanford, UC Berkeley, and UC Davis.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUS TV Sports. For our production crew behind us, I'm Hank Joseph.
And I'm Brianna Ballog. We'll see you next week.